I'm Rachel Yeusy from Widyagama Mahakam University, Samarinda. When we hear the word fair, we will think that it means an attitude where someone is not taking side with the organization and is able to be fair to everyone. Barrow in the Journal of Moral Education, Inclusion versus Fairness, saying fairness has been defined as the belief that it is morally wrong by itself to treat individuals differently without providing relevant reason for doing so. At school, if we position ourselves as students, and of course, we want to be treated fairly by our teacher, right? As Barry said in 2008 in the article of Teaching and Teacher Education entitled Novice Teacher Conception of Fairness in Inclusion Classroom, said the teacher who, for whatever reason, believes in the principle of equality, everyone received the same treatment. When in school, not all the students have an easy attitude. There must be a student attitude that is difficult to control. And we as teachers who are basically human, being who have shortcomings sometimes, we are too focused on the bad and forget about the positive things, the good done by their student. It could be the student is noisy and in class, but on the other hand, he is always diligent in doing his assignment, or even just show his hand to ask a question. Any student involved in the learning process is expected to be a quality graduate. Every student does not have the same intelligence. Each of them has very varying level of the intelligence and the perspective power. For students who have low comprehension and low intelligence, if they want to be fair teacher, then they must treat them in different way, and of course be treated differently from children with high intelligence. A. Senri and Margana 2019 in the journal Prasasti Journal of Linguistics entitled The Importance of Teacher-Student Interaction in Communicative Language Teaching said that the teacher must realize that students have their own characteristics. So that teacher must be fair because all the students are the same. In this context, it means that the teacher must have the view that all the students have the same position before him. In general, treat them equally and do not discriminate, which means all children are entitled to the same knowledge. Male or female, rich or poor, perfect or disabled, city or village, whatever their skin color, whatever ethnicity and race they are, have whatever belief and religion they belong to, and from any groups, students are entitled to any learning from the teacher without exception. They have the same right in the terms of obtaining maximum learning from the teacher. In order to become a fair teacher, in essence, justice must be implemented in the learning process with students. However, intelligently, if the teacher teaches children with the fast grasping power that applies it in the same way to the children with slow catching power, of course, it's not fair attitude. Because in the end, the existing teaching material cannot be understood by students who have slow grasping power. So the student will feel he is different from his friend who understand the learning material that the teacher delivers. And that is because other students do have a faster catching power. In teaching, a teacher must be able to understand the learning style and characteristic of their student. Chatip in 2010 in his book entitled Sekolahnya Manusia on page 100 state that learning style are how information can be well received by students, where each student has a different learning style from one other. It is not uncommon for students to get bored or feel bored when listening to the teacher, which means that the student's learning style does not match the teacher's teaching style. This is line with the opinion put forward by Chatip on page 101, saying when a teacher is able to understand his student and manage to enter the world of student through adjusting the learning style possessed by their student. Student will be willing to give their time to study with the teacher. Thus, if students already have desire and readiness to learn, the material presented by the teacher will be able to be digested and understood using the learning modalities owned by the student. Another opinion expressed by Sender 2018 in the Journal of Education and Training Studies, page 100 2007, exploring learning style and multiple intelligence type will allow them to identify their personal strength and weakness and learn from them. That by studying multiple learning style and intelligence will help in recognizing the strength and the weakness of the person, so that he can learn from their strength and weakness. By understanding the learning style possessed by students, the teacher will make it easier to plan learning and be able to choose the right learning strategy so that learning activity can run effectively and efficiently. And this is supported by Siregar opinion in the formative journal Muali in 2016, which states that good learning is a learning activity carried out by choosing the right strategy by formulating the goals to be achieved. Selection of a good learning strategy is a strategy that allows the creation of learning situations experienced by students so that they can provide learning experience to students directly. A teacher has the responsibility of conveying his knowledge to his student through teaching and learning activity, where the process of transferring knowledge will be meaningful if the child feels happy and experience direct experience related to the learning to be learned. If the teacher is able to understand the learning style possessed by their student and is able to apply them in choosing learning strategy, the teacher will find it easier to deliver the subject matter and the student will find it easier to understand the information they get with the learning style they have. Chatip also states the many failures of students in digesting information from their teacher are caused by a mismatch between the teacher teaching style and the student learning style. Conversely, in if the teacher is able to adapt his teaching style to the learning style possessed by his student, all lesson will feel very easy. By understanding the learning style possessed by student, teachers can help students to recognize the strength possessed by student and bury the weakness possessed by student in learning, so that student will feel confident and feel happy when learning. So that there are no more students who are noisy during lesson caused by boredom. And this is what makes students feel special, because teachers want to understand themselves by providing a learning style that fits their abilities. And fair is not only giving everything evenly or exactly, but being able to place according to the portion. Because it is impossible to call it fair if you give 5,000 to the student and then give 5,000 to elementary school children. Indeed, in the form of value, for money they are fair by getting 5,000 each person. But since from the needed it is not just justice, because the needs of students with elementary school children are different. And we can see that the students with a quick grasping abilities and those without, teachers act fairly by providing different learning style according to their abilities. That way, each student will feel himself special, and the teaching and learning process will be more enjoyable. Okay, thank you so much for watching. Thank you, see you.